My name's Abigail, and at 28, I'm a nurse working grueling 12-hour night shifts in a busy Chicago hospital. Picture this. I'm scrubbing vomit off my scrubs after a patient tried to swing at me. My bank account's down to $327, and I'm still chipping away at $14,200 in student loans. Life's tough, but it's mine until my family decides it's their ATM. Mom calls me one night, casual as ever. While I'm still in my sweaty uniform. "We're all going to Maui," she says. "Flights are $1,200 each. If you can't afford it, stay behind." Her words hit like a punch, like I've done for years. I've covered Kayla's rent, Dad's medical bills, even Derek's failed side hustles. But this trip? It's their luxury vacation, and I'm just the bank. I nod, force a smile, and say I'll stay behind. That's when everything changes. I'm standing in my tiny Chicago apartment, toothbrush in hand, still reeling from my mom's call about the $1,200 Maui flights. It's 2 a.m. For charges $1,200 each, for business class tickets. My card, my name, but not my trip. The passenger list reads like a family reunion I wasn't invited to. Sandra M., Mom, William M., Dad, Kayla B., my sister, Derek B., her husband. No Abigail M. anywhere. My fingers go cold, my heart hammering as I stare at the screen. They didn't just exclude me. They used my money to fly in style, without even asking. I'm not even worth a window seat in their world. The betrayal stings sharper than any patient's insult I've brushed off at work. I'm frozen for a full minute, toothpaste dripping onto the sink. This isn't new, but it's the boldest move yet. My family's been treating me like their personal ATM for years, and I've let it slide. Thinking that's what family does, support each other, no questions asked. But this is theft. I snap out of it, open the banking app, and hit dispute all with a trembling thumb. But sleep doesn't come. My mind's racing through years of moments I've buried, moments where I said yes when I should have screamed no. IT started when I was 22, fresh out of nursing school, drowning in $14,200 of student loans. Kayla, my older sister, needed a dress for her engagement party. "It's just $600, Abby," she said, batting her eyes. "You're in healthcare, you're fine. I'll pay you back by next month." I handed over my credit card, trusting her. Spoiler: she never paid me back. Then there was Dad, asking me to co-sign a loan for their kitchen remodel. "It's for the house's resale value," he said, like I'd be cashing in on their suburban dream someday. I signed, even though I was working 50-hour weeks and barely keeping my own lights on. That house got refinanced twice, and the money went to Derek's second failed business venture, a vape shop that tanked in 6 months. I found out later they didn't even tell me about the refinancing because they knew I'd say no. Then there was the time Derek borrowed my car while his was in the shop. He crashed it. A fender bender that doubled my insurance premium. No apology, just a shrug, and that's what insurance is for, right? I swallowed it like I always did because family's supposed to stick together. But sticking together meant me footing the bill, while they lived it up. I loaned Kayla $2,500 last April when Derek lost his sales job, thinking I was helping my sister keep her kids fed. Turns out, they used it for a new TV and a weekend in Vegas. When I got pneumonia last winter, too sick to cook, I asked Mom to drop off some soup. "Sorry, sweetheart," she said. The one who should pitch in because I had no responsibilities. Back in the present, my phone buzzes again, pulling me out of the memories. It's Kayla, texting from the airport check-in line. Why is nothing paid for? We're stuck here. I wipe the toothpaste off my chin, take a deep breath, and type back. "What you said? It's petty, sure, but it feels good to throw her words back at her." She doesn't respond, and I don't expect her to. I can picture her at O'Hare, fuming, probably blaming me for ruining their perfect family vacation. But I'm not the one who ran up $4. It's about every time I canceled plans to work an extra shift so I could cover their emergencies. It's about eating instant ramen 3 nights a week while they posted Instagram stories from steakhouses. It's about the way Mom's voice dripped with pity when she said, "If you can't afford it, stay behind," like I was some charity case instead of her daughter. I pull up my bank app again, double-checking the disputed charges. The app confirms the lock, and for the first time in years, I feel a flicker of control. I'm not just reacting, I'm deciding. Do I think about the week before the Hawaii trip when Kayla texted me out of the blue? "Can you move your payday up? Mom wants to book hotels and we're short." I was in the middle of a night shift, exhausted, when I texted back. "Short for what?" She sent a gif of hula dancers and the words "family trip" with a string of tropical emojis. I called Mom to clarify. "Kayla said you need help with hotels?" Asked, keeping my voice neutral.
Oh.
"Sweetie, don't worry," Mom chirped. "Everything's booked. We just needed a cushion for business class. You know how bad Derek's knees are." I blinked, stunned. "You're asking me to cover an upgrade for a trip I'm not even on?" Silence. Then her tone shifted, sharp and dismissive. "Look, Abigail, if you wanted to come, you could have said something." Like she was doing me a favor by cutting me out. I didn't argue, just hung up, numb. But that numbness is gone now, replaced by a fire I didn't know I had. I'm not just mad at them. I'm mad at myself for letting it go this far. For years, I've been the frog in boiling water, not noticing how they drained me, drip by drip. The $600 dress, the $2,500 loan, the $800 for Dad's MRI deductible, the $420 in groceries Mom forgot to Venmo me for. It all adds up to a ledger of betrayal I can't ignore anymore. I sit on my couch, staring at the locked card on my phone screen. The hospital's fluorescent lights and the smell of antiseptic feel a million miles away, but the weight of this moment is heavy. I'm not just disputing a charge. I'm disputing the version of me they've relied on, the pushover, the bank, the good daughter who always says yes. For the first time, I'm saying no. And I know they won't take it quietly. Kayla's already texting from the airport. Mom's probably crafting a guilt trip voicemail, and Dad's gearing up to lecture me about family loyalty. But I'm ready. This isn't just about $4,800 in plane tickets. It's about taking back my life, dollar by dollar, boundary by boundary. I'm sitting in my cramped Chicago apartment, the glow of my phone screen cutting through the dark. The credit card alert is still fresh. Those $4,800 in unauthorized charges for my family's Maui trip burning a hole in my chest. No more playing the good daughter who picks up the tab while they sip mimosas in business class. I open a travel app, my fingers moving faster than my doubts. I book a solo trip to a quiet beach town in Florida. Nothing fancy, just a cheap Airbnb with a view of the ocean. It's not Maui, but it's mine. No family, no expectations. Just me and the sound of waves. I hit confirm, and for the first time in forever, I feel like I'm breathing my own air. But I'm not stopping there. I pull up a spreadsheet. Something I've never done for them before. I list every cent they've taken. $600 for Kayla's engagement dress, $2,500 for her rent when Derek tanked his job, $800 for Dad's MRI deductible. Cold and professional, like I'm billing a client, not my family. Reimbursement request for unauthorized charges and past support. I type, attaching the spreadsheet. I add a line that feels like a blade. As of July 1st, I will no longer subsidize family expenses. Full repayment expected within 30 business days. This isn't just about money. It's about drawing a line they've never respected. The fallout comes fast. My phone lights up within minutes. Kayla's first, a text dripping with venom. "Are you serious?" An invoice? What kind of person does this to their own family? I can picture her, pacing at the airport, her perfect Instagram life unraveling because their free ride got grounded. Mom's next. Her voicemail a masterclass in guilt. "Abigail, this is hurtful and unnecessary. You're making things worse." Dad's text is blunt, like a hammer. "We raised you better than this." Raised me? I laugh. Bitter because I raised myself through nursing school, double shifts, and their endless emergencies. I don't respond. Let them stew. I'm not the one who stole from my own daughter, my own sister. The next morning, my phone's still buzzing, but I'm already out the door, heading to my shift at the hospital. I'm scrubbing down an exam room when Kayla calls 5 times in a row. I let it go to voicemail. Her message is a mix of rage and desperation. You're punishing us over a misunderstanding. Derek's knees swell in economy, Abby. Do you know how embarrassing it was to downgrade and pay out of pocket? I almost laugh at the absurdity. Embarrassing for them? What about the nights I skipped dinner to cover their bills? I text back one line. You mean like when I paid your rent for 8 months and you never paid me back? Silence. No reply. Good. That afternoon, I'm home, eating a $2 microwave burrito, when there's a knock at my door. I check the peephole. Dad, in his Hawaiian shirt, looking like he's ready to lecture me into submission. Mom's behind him, clutching papers, counting the seconds. 7 minutes later, he leaves, Mom trailing behind. I don't feel guilty. I feel free. That night, Mom leaves another voicemail, her voice softer, trembling, like she's auditioning for an Oscar in martyrdom. You really hurt your father today. He flew back early to talk to you, after everything we've done for you. Everything they've done? Like what? I want to scream. This isn't a mistake, it's a pattern. It's the $600 dress she never repaid, the $2,500 I loaned when they were broke. The car crashed, Derek shrugged off while my insurance skyrocketed. It's Mom telling me to understand when I was sick and needed her. I type a response, delete it, then type again. You didn't raise me. I was overwhelmed by the imbalance in our relationship, and I let you. Not anymore. I hit send and block Kayla. Mom and Dad stay unblocked. Mostly because I'm curious how far they'll take this. The next day, they show up again. I'm in my kitchen, chopping vegetables for a rare home-cooked meal, when I hear the knock. Through the peephole, Dad looks stiff, Mom's clutching those same papers, her face a mix of worry and manipulation. I open the door this time, not because I'm caving, but because I'm ready. You need to talk to us. Mom says, her voice shaking. No, I don't. I say, calm but firm. Dad steps forward, his jaw tight. This stunt, freezing the card, the invoice, it's spiteful, Abigail. We're your family. Because you train me to. Since I was 22, you've treated me like a walking debit card. I'm done. Dad's voice rises. Don't talk to your mother like that. I don't flinch. He opens his mouth, but nothing comes out. Mom's crying now, but I'm not swayed. You think this makes you strong? Dad says finally. Turning your back on family? I meet his eyes. No. It makes me free. I close the door, not a slam, just a quiet, deliberate click. They don't knock again. I sit on my couch, the silence louder than their voices ever were. My solo trip to Florida is a week away, and for the first time, I'm not checking my bank account obsessively. I'm not their safety net anymore. I'm mine. The invoice I sent wasn't just about money. It was a declaration. I'm worth more than their demands, more than their guilt trips. I'm Abigail. From drawing that line in the sand. My solo trip to Florida is booked, my credit card's locked, and the $7,870 invoice I sent to my family's group chat hangs in the air like a guillotine. I'm expecting more voicemails, more guilt trips, but for 2 days, it's radio silence. Just me, my instant coffee, and the hum of the city outside. Then, out of nowhere, when she moved to Seattle to start over. Her message is short. Hey, Abigail. Sorry to pop in like this, but you might want to talk. My gut tells me this isn't small talk. I reply, cautious. Is this about Derek? A thumbs up emoji, then a file, a PDF. I hesitate, then open it. My jaw drops. Screenshots of bank transfers, emails, a paper trail that reads like a crime novel. Derek's been siphoning money from a joint family account my parents set up for emergencies. Not for groceries or rent, crypto scams, high-risk bets that crashed harder than his vape shop. It gets worse. There's an email from Mom to Marissa, begging her not to report anything. We'll fix this. Abigail doesn't need to know. Another from Dad. She's too busy to notice. They knew. They'd been using me to patch up his messes for years. I call Marissa, my hands shaking. She picks up on the second ring, her voice calm but sharp, like she's been waiting for this. I couldn't keep watching from the sidelines, she says. I know how they treated you. I saw it when I was married to Derek. I ask why now, why she's stepping in. She pauses, then says, because you're finally doing what I should have done years ago, walking away. You deserve the truth. We talk for an hour, piecing together the lies. Derek didn't just use my card. Staple them and label the stack evidence. It's not just for me. It's for the version of myself who thought family meant sacrifice without question. The consequences hit fast. A week later, I get an email from my bank. Someone tried to use my frozen card again, this time to rent a car in Maui. Derek, of course. I call the fraud department and they confirm it matches his ID. Would you like to press charges? They ask. I say no, not yet, but I have them document it and email me the report. I save it in a folder called Family Patterns I Won't Repeat. Then, something bigger happens. Marissa, true to her lawyer instincts, sent her files to a family law attorney and the state fraud office. I hear through a cousin that Dad's job is gone. HR got an anonymous packet, likely Marissa's handiwork, and they didn't hesitate to cut him loose. I don't celebrate, but I don't cry either. They built this mess. Meanwhile, my life starts to shift. I sign up for therapy, real in-person sessions, not some app promising to fix me in 5 minutes. My therapist, a no-nonsense woman in her 50s, listens as I spill years of resentment. How I paid for Kayla's rent, Dad's medical bills, Mom's groceries, all while eating ramen and dodging collection calls for my student loans. She doesn't coddle me. She asks, "What do you want your life to look like now?" For the first time, I don't have an answer tied to my family's needs. I start small. Long walks along Lake Michigan, a used bike from Craigslist to ride on weekends, cooking actual meals instead of microwaving burritos. He's a soft-spoken physical therapist with a laugh that makes my shoulders unclench. Over lukewarm coffee, I tell him about my family, not the polished version, but the ugly truth. The stolen credit card, the invoice, the door I shut in their faces. He doesn't flinch, just holds my hand and says, "I'm proud of you for not letting it turn you bitter." It's the first time someone's seen me, really seen me, without expecting a check in return. We start dating, nothing flashy, just movies at the local theater or hikes in the forest preserves. He's not my savior. He's just proof I can build something new without my family shadow. I'm not naive. My family doesn't just fade away. Kayla sends one last text from an unknown number. "We're stranded. Are you seriously going to leave your family like this after all we've done for you?" I screenshot it, add it to my evidence folder, and don't reply. What have they done exactly? Expected me to pay for their lives while calling me selfish? Dad tries calling once more, his voicemail low and strained. "Abigail, your mother's sick with stress. Kayla's not eating. Derek's not doing well. We made mistakes, but you've made your point. Can we talk?" I text back one line. "You're not entitled to grace you never earned." I resend the invoice, this time attaching Marissa's files as proof of their lies. I copy Aunt Linda, who's always been the family's quiet observer, and, for good measure, forward a redacted version to Dad's old employer's HR, anonymously. I don't know if it makes a difference, but it feels like justice. Weeks later, I'm packing for my Florida trip when I get a letter. Handwritten, from Kayla. 5 pages of manipulation dressed as an apology. "We all make mistakes. You took it too far. Mom cries every day. You've turned your back on blood." At the end, she writes, "We're family. Nothing changes that." She's right, but not in the way she thinks. They're family, which makes their betrayal cut deeper. I fold the letter, lock it in a drawer with Marissa's files. I'm building my own, one step, one boundary, one choice at a time. 6 months have passed since I closed the door on my family's expectations, and my Chicago apartment feels lighter. Or the nurse who sacrifices her own peace to keep the family afloat.
I've grown, quieter, stronger, wiser.
The $7,870 check from my mom sits on my desk for weeks, a silent admission of their wrongs. No apology attached.
I don't cash it for myself.
Instead, I donate every cent to a scholarship fund for young nurses in Illinois, women like me who juggle school, work, and families who lean too hard. That she doesn't have to set herself on fire to keep others warm. My life's blooming now. I'm in therapy, biking along Lake Michigan, and planning a move with David, the guy who sees me for me, and building a life where I'm the priority. If my story hits home, if you're stuck in a cycle of giving too much to people who take without giving back, set those boundaries. You're worth it.